Hi, my name's Serena. I come from West Norwood. My favourite hobbies are playing volleyball, reading and doing light sports. I was about 18 and the person was about 25. Obviously, I was still young in my mind. It was kind of all about me, but even though I was, behaving like I was much older, inside I was still maybe 12, 13 because I was still like caged off. It just went downhill. There was always like violence, always drugs. There was always like, parties at the weekend. So all the relationships were the same, but they were all disastrous. I didn't really think much of it. I mean, I never used to want to get married. Marriage was just a piece of paper for me, and it didn't really make any sense. You could be committed to somebody that you was living with, but it still never turned out right anyway. No matter what I did, even if I tried to do things differently, it would always end up really bad. The turning point was when I was with a partner I was with him for about 7 years, and it really got abusive, and I was really tired, I was drained, always arguing about the drugs in the house, always arguing just about silly things. And I think that was the day when I really had enough, and I just used all my strength that I had and I just ended that relationship. My friend invited me to the help centre, and then we started to come to the love therapy, and I started to hear things that I heard before but I just really wasn't putting into practice. And what the most thing for me was that I had to change myself, because in previous relationships I was always trying to change. The other person always had to change because obviously it was always their fault. It was never my fault. And when I came to the love school last year, I realised that I was always looking for Mr. Perfect, Mr. Good Looking, Mr. Dressed Nice, Mr. Smell Nice. Everything was meant to be perfect for me, and there's no such kind of person. I'm happier now, because obviously how am I going to make somebody else happy if I'm not happy myself? And I'm a lot more confident, because before I was quite shy and I just went with the flow, even though that's had a bravado. So in this love school I'm quite excited, because I know that I'm looking forward to learning many different things that they're going to teach us this year, and I'm looking forward to getting married. It's not just a piece of paper anymore, and watch out for my wedding.
You're live on Finding Answers. Now, what happens when your plans don't go according to how you planned it to be? More to the point, what happens when you leave education, you leave school, with no qualifications? Recently, or just about a week or two ago, we had the results of GCSEs and the A-levels. And I think, if I remember rightly from the report, grades were slightly down this year. Though many were happy with what they've got. But what happens when you don't get the expected results? Or actually, not just the results, but nothing at all. To the point where your goals, you can't even go to college because the college rejects you. What do? Does your future seem bleak? Are there options out there for you? That's the topic for tonight. And the guest with me is someone who left school with results, but not the intended results he wanted. And that led to quite a few problems where, well, he's going to explain to you later on, he went into a life of crime to make ends meet. With me tonight is Victoria. Hi Victoria, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, we have a name for this group of people, young people that leaves college, right? Leave school. They are called NEETs.
They are called NEETs.
And NEET stands for? I've been practicing that, right?
Yeah, why don't you tell me?
I know what it means. NEET stands for not in education, employment or training.
Well
there
done.
You go.
Well done, very good.
So NEETs. Actually, there was an article yesterday I read about NEETs, and now the program tonight is about NEETs. So can you explain more about it? NEETs?
Yeah, so NEETs are people, basically young people between the ages of 16 and anything up to about 25, 26, who are not in education, employment and training. Now, the government nowadays do want all young people to continue either in education or to go into employment or training. But some young people, unfortunately, do neither of those things, which means that they have no income, they may be on benefits, and unfortunately that number is huge. There are currently 955,000 young people who are called NEET at this moment.
Now, they could be for any reason why they are in this group, right?
Yeah.
It could be because of family issues. It could be because, I don't know, they've decided to leave school. They got chucked out of school for bad behavior. And now they are on the streets. These could be girls, right, who fell pregnant while at school. And what do we do with our young generation? Although there are lots of opportunities out there for this generation, I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities, like you've got vocational courses, you've got, the word slips through now, you know, you got opportunities where you can shadow people, you can what's the word? I forgot it now.
Volunteering.
Volunteer, that's
Yeah.
it. Where you volunteering skills and things like that, on opportunities for people like that. But what happened? Do these young people want to go and do these things, or do they prefer to stay at home, flick the channels? Hopefully you'll be flicking and watching this program now because you've got nothing to do. Or, you know, what seems to happen to this lost generation? What's going to happen in the future? So I want to hear from you, and maybe you're one of these teenagers who fall into this category, or called a NEET. I don't think you want to be called a NEET, but that's the term used. So maybe you're watching this program now and you've got nothing to do. You're tomorrow, you've got no plans for tomorrow. You're going to go to bed late, you're going to be probably on the internet, you're going to be around friends' houses, you'll be listening to music, but there's no future for you. No, you're going to get up late, you're going to meet some friends, you're going to hang out on the street corner, you're going to maybe go and sign on the dough, or collect the dough money, or whatever it is, but there's no plan for you. There's no plans. But I can tell you that there is a future for you, and tonight's testimony is proof of that your life can take a different course. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, a few months ago, a few years ago, when you left school with no education. But I can tell you that things can change, all right? Victoria, we have contact details for people who would like to contact us.
Absolutely. So if you'd like to send us a tweet, then start your tweet with @FindAnswersTV. You can comment on any of the topics that we touch on this evening. And if you think that you would like to ask our guests a question that we're not actually asking them, then please send us in a comment, or you can find us on Facebook. Just search for Finding Answers and like our page. Or alternatively, if you'd like to speak to somebody, then we have advisors on the phones all evening, and the number is 020 7686 6300. Or if you'd like to send us an email, I'm happy to read that out live on air. The email address is help@findinganswers.tv.
Now, instead of going on the Facebook or whatever it is, why don't you send us an email? Do something constructive with yourself now at this time. Pick up the phone, right? If your minutes are unlimited, and you can use it to call your friends, and you can WhatsApp and do whatever it is on the phone, pick up the call. Give us a call now. Pick up the phone, sorry. Give us a call, and someone will be on the end of the line to give you some advice. And if you want even to speak live on this program, you can do so, okay? We're going to go for a quick break, and we'll be back to meet our guest for tonight. We'll see you after this.
This year's Love School is graduating to the next level of understanding how to hold on to a relationship. But maybe you've been asking, can the Love School really be for you? Let's find out. I was there last time. Do I need to go again? Is it for me? Yes, it is for you. No one is ready for a practical test just after one driving lesson. Nor does anyone qualify for a degree by attending only one class. And the same is with love. The road to a successful relationship is an ongoing journey. So don't miss out on the second class.
We hope that you will begin to start thinking differently from today on and investing in your love life, not only for today, but every day.
Come along for a Sunday afternoon of entertainment and new ideas at the SSE Arena in Wembley on the 28th of September at 2 p.m. No matter what your love status, the Love School really is for you. Tickets are on sale now and seats are selling fast. Pick up yours at your local UCKG branch. Call us on 020 7686 6050 or visit us online at theloveschoolevent.com.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. This evening we're talking about leaving school with no qualifications. Here's a short video to introduce you to the topic and talk a bit more about NEETs. The proportion of the population aged 20 to retirement without any formal educational qualifications is 10% of the UK population, with almost a third of young people leaving school with poor or no qualifications. There are many reasons why young people go out to the world of work without qualifications, such as teenage pregnancy, sustained disruption at home, behavioural problems, peer influences, mental or physical health problems, substance misuse and responsibilities as a carer. Childhood poverty has also been linked with poor educational outcomes. Family background is the most important predictor of academic success. Children from low-income households have lower educational aspirations and are more likely to require remedial help or special educational needs assistance than their better-off peers. Young people from low-income households end up leaving school earlier and are 6 times more likely to leave without qualifications than those from higher-income households. Even with some qualifications, some young people leave education and do not go into further education, employment or training. The government now calls this section of the population NEET. Leaving education aged 16 into NEET status is now as high as 955,000 young people, which is 13% of people in this age group. Being classed as NEET is linked to later criminal activity, early parenthood, long-term unemployment and substance misuse. Alarmingly, educational disadvantage is also likely to be transmitted to the next generation, with the children of low-skilled parents vulnerable to low educational attainment. However, many people believe that success is not just measured by qualifications. There are many forms of intelligence. A key ability is being able to apply your intelligence and being practical in how to implement it.
Good point there, what Victoria said, because, it doesn't mean because you haven't passed X amount of GCSEs or A levels that you are stupid, right? I believe that everyone has a skill Everyone has a talent to do something. And so just by not having, I don't know, an X amount of GCSEs, it doesn't mean that you can't succeed in life. And I would just like to say to you that if you are in this group called NEET, and you think to yourself, where's my future heading? I wish I could have turned back time and not misbehaved, right? Not being able to be kicked out of school, for example. Well, what's happened has happened. But your future, whatever you do now, a decision that you make now can change the course of your life from now on. I could have been, in my time at school, I could have been part of this group, right? One random act that I did, which was just to follow a friend who said do something. And I did it, and I got caught. And I was suspended. Suspended or expelled? It was for 3 days.
Suspended.
Suspended.
Yeah.
I was suspended for 3 days. And I got brought to the head teacher's office. My mum was brought in as well. And, the head teacher said, look, you're a bright student, but why did you do that? And I remember my mum was in tears, shame. It's like it brought shame upon her. I looked at my mum and I broke down as well because I disappointed my mum. But then I made a decision. You know what? I'm not going to hang around with those group of guys anymore. I'm going to hang around with if I can say, the nerds. They weren't nerds, but they weren't as cool as the other guys. But then I got the GCSE I wanted. I went on to college. I went on to university. And I ended up, being a minister, right? So you see, there is always a way forward, right? Life doesn't have to be the way that you planned it out to be. And though you haven't planned out your life the way it is now, a decision that you can make tonight can change your future. Let's meet now our guest for tonight. His name is Conrad Mutege.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Welcome, Conrad.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, today you are quite successful in what you do.
Yes.
But that wasn't the case before,
No.
right? You left school with how many GCSEs?
So 8.
8 GCSEs.
That's right, yeah.
And what is it that your parents wanted from you?
So my parents wanted me to have all A stars, including maths and English.
Right.
And in the future, they wanted me to become a doctor or something related to health.
Right.
Health
That was
minister.
something that your parents
That's
had
right.
gone into, right?
They engraved it into me when I was young.
Right.
Yeah.
So you grew up thinking, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be something to do with health.
That's right, yeah.
But
things kind of changed. Becoming a doctor or a nurse or a radiotherapist wasn't really my passion, even though my mom and my dad was really,
driving it into you.
Exactly, it wasn't really my passion. My passion was, to like creative things like, fashion, a bit of ICT, that kind of technical things.
Hands-on.
That's right, yeah.
You're good with your hands.
That's right, yeah. Hands-on.
So, when did you start to feel that desire that you knew that this is what you wanted?
Well, the desire grew in me when I was starting college. I was in school, picked on, and I didn't really like the clothes that I was wearing, like uniform, shirt and tie. But then
I don't think any kid likes, right?
No.
They don't like to wear school uniform.
No, I didn't really like it. Well, my one. So then after school, I started college fresh.
Right.
So
let's before we go to that. So you left school with 8 GCSEs.
That's right, yeah.
What were your grades?
So I had the best ones. I'm gonna start from the beginning. So I had A star in textiles, and I had A
star in textiles.
Yeah.
Now you can't go and do something in health.
No, you can't.
Or become a doctor.
No.
With A in textiles, right?
No.
So A in textiles. What
Then
else?
art I got an A. Then science, I got a C. ICT, I got a C. PE, I got a B. And then I failed maths, I got an E. And then English was 2 Ds.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were upset, were you?
Yeah,
Probably your parents are more upset.
Yeah, I wasn't upset because I knew I'd get those grades. You know, I didn't really work hard. I'll bunk off the lesson. You know, I didn't really like tests.
Now, why did you bunk the lesson? What was going on in your life? Was it peer pressure? Was it problems at home?
I think problems at home, and I didn't really have enough motivation to really push myself and sit down in a quiet area and just read, you know, read on previous notes that were displayed to me in the lesson, or really recap on things. I just didn't like reading, you know. So I didn't really have anyone to really motivate me, like my parents or my mum or my dad. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I didn't really have them on my case helping me. So when it came to like things like that popping up in school, I tried to avoid it, you know, and try and do something else.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's funny that around this time when the results of A levels and GCSEs come out, that you don't really hear, they don't really interview someone who says, oh, I got 2 Bs, I got E's and D's.
Yeah.
It's always someone that has A's, right? And B's mostly. And you came out with what you just mentioned now.
That's right.
Now, what happened at college? I mean, were you able to get into the college that you wanted to get into?
No, I had to try and search for a second college.
Right.
So obviously I had to break down the news to my parents. So really, you know.
And what was the reaction?
It wasn't good. Yeah, I got a bit of, you know, at home.
Not physically. Was it physically? At 16?
Yeah. No, at 15, 16, yeah. And a bit of a lecture, but then kind of wiped my tears and then just continued life really.
Right.
So then I went to a college.
But did you want to apply for what your parents wanted you to do or what you wanted to do?
Yeah, because it was a bit of disappointment, you know, because they've got like high expectations of you. And obviously, you know, if you shame them, it's like you shame the dynasty, you shame like the whole family. So it was quite difficult, but then I managed to like, you know, really brush it off and then just go forward. So my second choice college, it was okay, but I kind of, you know, I said, you know what, let me do my best to really make use of what I have. So yeah.
And what course did you go on at
So
college?
I did a retake of maths, I did textiles, and then I did ICT. So then after that, I just, you know, since I was really ambitious when I was young. So I had that passion for football. So, you know, Academy called me up and they wanted to take me on. I think it was for Barnet in League 2. So I just dropped everything.
For football?
Everything.
Right.
Yeah. So for football.
That must have pleased your parents, right?
It was a lot of headache. And that lasted for 1.5 years. And then it was high competition, really high, you know, a lot of kids want to become footballers. So it was difficult at the time. So I kind of gave up.
Why?
Because I was a bit discouraged at the time, because I thought I had like insecurities. You know, I'm not really as tall as these defenders are. You know, I'm not really as, you know, strong, you know, vocal. So I kind of really doubted myself, and then I ended up leaving the academy.
So did you go back to college?
Yeah, I had to find I had to wait for the semester to finish and then reapply. That's right.
So you kind of delayed your life. Everyone was moving forward, if I can say that, and then
that's right.
Your life was delayed maybe 6 months, a year or so?
Yeah. No,
a year and a bit?
Yeah,
2 years?
Maybe 2 years, yeah. Yeah.
So what did you do?
So then I needed a job, so I needed to pay things and whatnot. So I started, you know, retail. I was young. So I was working in near West London as a normal retail assistant, but then I could see that I liked selling, you know, speaking to customers, building up clienteles and whatnot. So I had a joy to wake up in the morning and, you know, do that kind of job. So, you know, I started to see that I was growing, you know, within the, like I was getting promoted, like I got promoted like supervisor when I was like only 16 years old and things like that. So yeah, that's it really.
Now, I don't know if you've missed a big chunk out, but
yeah, I think
it wasn't all like this. Things weren't starting to go well for you, as you're mentioning now. There was a big gap in between.
That's right, yeah.
Right? You're going to hear what he did and what maybe many young people are doing right now to make ends meet, just to get a bit of money. He was 16
yes,
at the time?
17, 18.
17, 18 years old, and after the break, you're going to find out what he did to make money. We'll see.
How can you rebuild the shreds of a shattered past? Let us help you.
Faith, works, salvation. Man, talk about your polarizing topics. Everyone has an opinion on them. Can we work our way to heaven? Does it just simply take faith? And what is an authentic faith? Well, let's investigate the arithmetic behind these important questions and see how the truth really adds up. Some people believe that works equals salvation. Simply put, this is man's effort to work his way up to God and become acceptable in His sight. This is the view of religion, that lots of good works equals salvation. However, Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9 says, "For it is by grace that you have been saved, through faith, not by works, so that no one can boast." Sounds like something is wrong with our equation. So, let's scratch works and replace it with faith. Surely that's all we need to make our equation correct. Well, we need to tread carefully here. Faith is ultimately what makes us acceptable to God. And we know without faith it is impossible to please God. But this equation is incomplete. James chapter 2 verse 17 says that faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. So, works must be factored into the equation. One popular view of the salvation formula is faith plus works equals salvation. People think that belief in Christ is important, but that salvation is still dependent upon doing enough good with their life. They rightly acknowledge the expectation that works are involved, but they confuse why they're there. It may be subtle, but it's wrong. Why? Well, look at this quick math lesson. We can all agree that 2 plus 3 equals 5. Thus, since this equation is true, it also means that 3 equals 5 minus 2. A true equation holds up regardless of how you move the pieces around. We call them fact families. So let's return to our formula. If faith plus works equals salvation is true, then the formula of faith equals salvation minus works must also be true. And Professor James has already reminded us that this kind of faith just doesn't add up. Let's try this one more time. We are saved by faith. But James does add something to the equation by challenging us with what our faith should look like. It's not that works create our salvation, rather, it's that works should accompany our salvation. That's an authentic faith, growing in Christ-likeness in such a way that our lives bear the fruit of good works. And yes, I know what you're thinking. If this fact family is true, then faith minus works equals salvation must also be true. So if you have no works, are you saved? Let's just say while we can celebrate God's amazing grace, the expectation of God's word is that we would see the fruit of your real faith. So while the math adds up, it should bother you that your life does not. The fact is, we are saved by faith alone. But the faith which saves is never alone. Still not sure about all of this? Well, you do the math.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. This evening our topic is leaving school with no qualifications. So as usual, I've been out and about asking the general public questions on the topic, so here are the street interviews.
You know, there's no stereotype anymore.
Protect yourself, sometimes you probably do.
It will heal, but it will always...
They're humans, they have the ability to use their initiative.
Find it difficult to just be happy in this life.
Hi, I'm Victoria Edgecombe, and tonight on Finding Answers, we're talking about leaving school with no qualifications. So I've been out and about and asked the general public, why do they think some young people leave education with no qualifications? And should more be done to prevent this from happening?
People, if they do education, they want, because I've seen people having master's degrees and everything, but still they can't get a job. So if they don't have qualifications, that's what it is, they get the job easily. So my point of view is people with education don't get good jobs. Without no qualification, they get good jobs.
I do think, yeah, there is a focus on just like getting by. Like, you know, like, I mean, in school, like everybody cheated off each other's tests. Everybody just like wrote papers just to like get them in, you know? So I think the focus is on just completion rather than like actual broadening and like learning.
I have lots of qualifications and still have a rubbish job. So I don't think it really counts for much.
Everyone the same. There's no individuality at school, which is a very, very bad thing. So they just churn everyone out to be the same. So if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer and you haven't got any qualifications, yeah, I'd worry for you, because I don't want my surgeon going, don't worry, I've read this on YouTube or in a book. Like, that would worry me. But if you want to, say, be a performer, and school is just very focused on, not on the arts, but on your sciences and maths, then you might leave without qualifications, but qualifications aren't necessarily important for the career path and choice that you want to go into.
So, you see, the consensus, Victoria, what was the consensus on the street that most people that you were interviewing were saying?
I was quite surprised, actually. Most people said that it didn't matter about qualifications, but actually a couple of people said that you would do better not to have qualifications. I'm not sure where we can really go with that point, because obviously qualifications are really very important, but maybe for some people, not relying on them as much as others is useful. The gentleman did mention maybe performers may not need qualifications as much, but then you can also get qualifications in performance. But I was quite surprised. Even the gentleman that we interviewed on Brick Lane said that you are more likely to get the job if you don't have the qualification. That was quite interesting.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I think, you know, I've known of cases where people have, with their determination and, you know, not necessarily what they did not attain, but their determination and, you know, their willingness to work and learn on the job, they've actually said, you know what, I'm willing to take this job, I'm a quick learner and I want this job, and they were employed on the spot, even though they didn't have the skills maybe, or in fact the qualifications. And that's proof that if you're a go-getter, if you want to succeed in life, and I think you do, everyone wants to succeed in life, right? Just because you're sitting at home, you know, probably you're going through personal issues in life, you don't have the confidence maybe, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to succeed. Maybe the opportunities haven't come your way yet, but they can. And Conrad, you know, he mentioned an opportunity to play football for a League 2 division team. So what did he do? He dropped everything and he went and played, but after a year, he found out it wasn't for him, and then he had to go back to education again. So we're going to go back to Conrad now and speak about what happened, how he made money, lots of money at such a young age. So Conrad,
yes,
welcome back. Tell us about what happened with you.
So basically, the reason why I was driven to go the wrong way of making money was because a couple friends influenced me to go to that way, to that route, you know, and the way they influenced me wasn't by sweet words, it was, they showed me physical things that I knew that I could never get in.
Which was?
Was cars, you know, was diamond rings,
The
like
real
watches.
deal, the real stuff.
Yes, it wasn't fake, it was the real deal, legit. And they just gave me like a little question, a rhetorical question. Like, if you want to make money, just follow us. You know, you don't have to do anything stupid, you know, you don't have to walk naked in the road and whatnot. It's quite easy.
And what was it?
So it was to do with fraud, bank fraud. So what we used to do, we used to convince people, do house, like really raid the house, get credit cards, debit cards, and just pile them, and just put a lot of money into them, into the cards. So then we managed to accumulate 30 grand in the space of 1 month and 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, so till now I still regret it, so it's not like I don't have like any guilt, but yeah, it was really stupid.
Was that the most you've ever made in?
Yeah, that's the most I've ever made. I did a couple of things on the internet, selling things on eBay, stealing things and selling on eBay and making profit.
Right.
But that wasn't really, I was probably making £200 a week.
And do you think you did that because, if you trace it back to not pleasing your parents?
Yeah, I did it because at home there wasn't enough to eat. You know, I'll just open the fridge and I see, you know, 1 egg, 1 butter, and stale bread. You know,
Right.
and I'll see it every single day, and it kind of made me want to really do something about it. But I really wanted it quick, so that greed was forever growing. You know, how can I make it like? The urge to make quick money was there.
So not only did you get money for yourself, did you obtain the diamond rings and the things like that?
To be honest, I did, like what I did with the money was I had to spend it quick. So like I said before, like I would like do anything I can to make money, but I had to think about it. So I spend it on trips to, like a trip to Dubai. I went there for a week. Then I went to Cyprus and I went to Brussels. And
and what would you do there?
So in Dubai, I would just rent out quad bikes and just go to like lush hotels. Then in Brussels, we'll just go out to eat. You know, there's like a lot of restaurants we'll go there to eat. Cyprus, we just enjoy the sun, a lot of raving with girls and just splashing money.
So, okay, you spent all that money abroad.
Yeah.
But what about the empty fridge that was at home? Did you,
to be honest,
did you
like,
support the family?
No, I didn't. I was being selfish.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. So you were a neat back then.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, a big one.
You were, you messed up your life.
Yeah.
And you were looking for a quick way to kind of enjoy yourself, forget about your problems.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the harsh reality hit home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, that lifestyle, how long were you in that lifestyle for?
So I was in that lifestyle probably 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah. So it was.
And how were you?
Well,
how were you feeling?
Outside, I was really confident. I had the material things, you know, to clothe, you know, my body. But, you know, inside I had a lot of anger problems, you know, void, empty.
Why were you
like
angry?
Depressed, because I knew when I come home, I've got parents on my back, you know, I've got a little sister that I've, you know, haven't really done my best to, you know, really shown her like a good example.
And probably that empty fridge with that 1 egg
Yeah.
and a pack of butter, right?
Yeah, it was still there. So that was really burning me inside. Yeah.
How did things change?
So I had to really humble myself. So I got caught. So obviously I went to court and whatnot. I did probation. Then I got invited to come to a youth group, and then that's when I started to really understand, you know, the things that I was doing wasn't really correct.
Someone invited you to a youth group, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And what was the promise coming to this youth group? What was your attraction?
Well, the attraction was that I was seeing a lot of guys that were relating to me. So, for example, we had people that were not in gangs, but they were in criminal activities similar to what I was doing, and they came out of it, and now they no longer have the urge to go back.
Right.
So that kind of caught my attention.
Were they making a success of themselves in life?
They were leading to that way. So I said, you know, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, It must be easy. You know, but then it was a lot of effort. I had to really change within myself.
That easy money, getting that easy money, having the girls and the holidays and the clothes and whatever it is, it didn't fill that emptiness that you felt.
No, it was just like taking a good drug, but you know, the drug didn't really last that long. It just
So you came down now.
Yeah.
You were on probation.
That's
you had a
right.
warning.
You
decided I need to fix my life.
Yeah.
I need to do something about.
But it wasn't a caution, because I did other criminal activities like shoplifting and whatnot.
Right.
So so then after that, I had to like start from zero. You know, I had to speak to my mum, open up to my mum, because you know, when I left for them couple weeks, I gave my sister £300 to keep her mouth closed, so she wouldn't tell my mum and my dad where I was, because I told her I was in my auntie's house for 3 weeks and whatnot. So I had to open up.
Your parents eventually found out?
Yeah, when they saw the amount of bank statements were coming in was a lot of court case and letters and whatnot. So then I had to really open up about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after that, you found yourself coming to a youth group, invited to a youth group.
That's right.
And how did things change for you?
So it was quite difficult because I didn't really open up there and then. It took me a long time because I had a lot of trust issues. I wasn't really confident at the same time. But eventually I opened up, and it gave me, you know, like positivity. They really said, they believed in me, you know. There would be times I had advisors speaking to me, and I would really take in that word and go home, think about it, and really act on it. So yeah, and it's like the advice they were giving me was really, I saw results very quickly, you know, and I had like a reference beside me, and you know, if he's done it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
So that kept me going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
What do you do, Conrad?
So today
but first of all, how old are you?
I just turned 23.
23?
Yeah.
What do you do?
So I work in Mayfair as a bespoke personal tailor.
A bespoke?
Personal tailor.
Personal tailor?
That's right.
On the high street, one of these local stores?
No, in Mayfair.
Mayfair?
That's right.
And you just told me before that you just got promoted or you got a bigger pay rise?
Yeah.
But where were you working before?
So I was working in Savile Row in Richard James.
Right.
So yeah, I got a company was looking for me, LinkedIn. Just took the opportunity.
And you got it, and now it's a step up.
That's right.
A promotion.
That's right. Yeah.
And now you're
assistant director.
A director.
Yeah.
At 23 years old.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, the clients that come and to
Prestige.
your store.
Yeah.
Who are these guys?
So we have a lot of Arabs. So I have to learn Arabic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you say something?
No,
you can't.
No, it's difficult. And I went to learn Mandarin, but I was like, no, it's too much for me. It's too much. But
and you are making a lot of money now.
Yeah. So for example, I had to deal with one of the owners of he owns yachts, And the name of the company is called...
you don't have to say it's...
Okay, yeah, so he owns a lot of yachts and he's
Yeah.
quite wealthy,
Yeah.
you know, and with a personal tailor, you have to like invade in their personal space, you know, and I had a heart attack because I knew about this guy. I did some profiling about him and I was like, okay, if I come a bit too close, you know. But it's things like that I get used to, and, you know, speaking to him and realizing where I came from, it's like, wow, you know, I want to do more and really do better for myself. Yeah.
Now, let me just ask you this question. It's Savile Row.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you're in tailoring.
Yeah.
A young black man
Yeah.
in that industry.
Yeah.
Are there many of you?
At the time, there wasn't.
There wasn't years ago?
No.
What about now? I mean, at your age as well?
Not that much.
No?
And the way I got the job was through boldness. I was walking through Savile Row, I saw the mannequin, and I imitated the look. I said, I've got a similar shirt, similar tie, jacket, waistcoat, shoes.
Yeah.
The next day came, I went to the exact shop.
You applied?
Yeah, I said, I want to work for you today. And then he was looking at me for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he went back and he said, okay, we're going to give you an interview next week. So
Now, do you know why? Do you know why? Because it wasn't because he was desperate. Trace it back. What did he get an A star in? What did you get an A star in?
Textiles, yeah, textiles.
Textiles, because that was your talent.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted
and
to do.
And A for art as well.
And art as well. So there was that gift, that design.
Yeah.
So you see, he had a gift. He neglected that gift for a number of years, went down the wrong path, served your time.
Yeah.
But eventually, that gift that was with you all the time, you used it for your benefit. Actually, it was bold for you to... You planned, obviously, to go back into that shop to ask for a job.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, did you know at that time you wanted to do it? Of course, you must have known, I want to be a tailor.
Yeah. But it was difficult because in my head, I thought, okay, you have to have the right age, because they didn't really hire youngsters. You have to have the right qualifications, the right experience. I had no previous tailoring experience, I had no qualifications. I wasn't a cutter for more than 7 years. I haven't worked with any prestige clientele. So it was really, yeah.
Yeah. So you're working your way up.
That's right.
23 years old, a director. Good on you, my friend.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
on going, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your story with us. So, look, if you are a NEET, if you are doing fraud, if your life is not going the way you want it to go, you feel as though you're a failure, right? You don't see a future, your future is bleak, then Conrad is an example for you, as he saw an example in other young people his age, right? He is now a reference to you. If you want, you're young, you want to know how to make it, and maybe you don't have a clue. Maybe you can't even see the talent that you have with you right now, but it's there. If you want, give us a call. You can speak to Conrad after the program. We have, people answering the phone. We have a female answering the phone. If you're a female, you want to speak to someone female, then give us a call and she'll be able to give you some advice as well, all right? Victoria, before we go for our prayer, we have a love.
We have a love myth.
A love myth.
We're going to dispel a love myth.
Okay, let's hear about that love myth now.
Okay, so we've got a short video on that one.
Where and how will I find my soulmate?
So, the love myth is, for tonight?
When and how will I find my soulmate?
When and how will I find my soulmate? Well, as we spoke yesterday on the program, there is nothing, no such thing as a soulmate. If you remember, there is someone out there. Actually, there are many people out there that could potentially be the right person for you. It just depends on who you find at that time and if you work things out together. And if it's not the person, there will always be someone else. So when? I don't know when. How? We don't know how. But it's not about luck. It's about you obviously taking your time and getting to know that person. And even if you've known someone for a number of years, but if you still see something wrong, there is something wrong in that person. Maybe as that relationship gets a lot serious over time, then he or she hits you. He or she swears at you. That's a sign not to continue necessarily the relationship, but to hold on, take a step back and say, hold on a minute. How come this is happening now? That's a sign, because if you don't question, if you don't stop and ask what's going on, that's going to be a problem for you in the future. All right? So when? I don't know when. There's no how, right? Because every person's case is totally different. Some people can hit it off quick, others take a number of years. But the myth is you never find someone, right, at a right time. Do you have a partner?
I do, thank you.
How are things going?
Marvellous, thank you. 7.5 years on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And how did you meet?
We met in his hometown in Dorset.
Dorset?
I went to visit my
nice part
friend.
of
It
England.
is, yeah. I went to visit my friend randomly and he was there on the same day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just friends? Just talking?
No, we hit it off straight away.
Really?
Yes.
So, but you see, she hit it off straight away, right? I met my wife at university and we were just friends. And then I think a year afterwards, she asked me out, right? And we hit it off, and 16 years, actually 21 years knowing each other, but 16 years married. So there isn't a fixed period. There isn't any fixed way of finding someone. But if you are open to learn, to find out who that person is, I'm sure you get to know that person, all right? So we're going to go for the prayer now. If you like to give us a call, include your name for the prayer, you can, especially you who are down, you feel sad, there's no future for you, or that's what you think. You feel as though your life has come to a dead end, and you know you're probably thinking of suicide even at your young age. I can tell you there's a future for you. Get your glass of water, because we're going to go for the prayer right now.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like a prayer concerning your financial life, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
My God, I pray now for this person who society has just labeled them now as a NEET. I don't like to call them that. I would like to say, this person who's in need, this person who doesn't want to fail in life. No one wants to fail. No one wants to come off second best. But each one of us, we want to achieve our goals in life. And maybe, my Lord, what this person has started off doing, they've come to a dead end. They've come to a brick wall. And because of that, they couldn't see a future for themselves. And so they've taken a wrong decision. Maybe they were influenced by other people like Conrad was, and has ended up in a life of crime. Now this person's at home, smoking their life away, drinking their life away, playing on video games, just spending their time, my Lord, with no goals in life. My God, I pray, Father, that this person will find someone an example, like Conrad did. He met someone he could relate to, and those words of encouragement helped him to get his life back on track. And just as he had a talent that was always there with him, I pray for this young person, male or female, young or old, who may not have discovered their talent yet. Lord, bring that talent to the surface, to the open. Let them see what they are good at and put that to good use. So if they've been blinded up until now, show them, my God, what they need to do. Instead of waking up tomorrow late in the afternoon with no goals, Lord, let this person do what Conrad did. Put on their best clothing and go out and look for a job. And if they didn't have belief in themselves, so Lord, I pray that when they'll drink this glass of water, you will take away all doubts. You will take away the low self-esteem, and you will strengthen them to make a difference in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Drink this water now, and I believe that God is removing all the negativity from your life in Jesus Christ's name. So, you see, Conrad, very successful young man. And if you are in need of help, do you mind staying for about 5-10 minutes afterwards?
Yeah.
The program?
Yeah.
If you want to talk to Conrad to find some information out, male or female, doesn't matter, on how he turned his life around, you want some personal advice, then give us a call now. The number is 0207 686 6300. You can talk to me as well. I'll stay behind as well. And on tomorrow's program, you are going to hear another live testimony of someone who turned their life around. From Finding Answers, have a wonderful night. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.